So let's look at the Neapolitan chord. If we're in the key of C minor, the Neapolitan chord is often described as the major triad on the lowered second scale degree. It's typically in first inversion. So there's a Neapolitan and a Neapolitan 6. This could be called flat 2 major, flat 2 major in first inversion. Thinking of it like this, though, doesn't really explain how it works. You really need to understand it in terms of a contrapuntal framework. And so let's talk about that. So if we're in the key of C minor, okay, I've got C, F, G, C. This is our standard harmonic cycle, tonic, predominant, dominant, tonic. And if above this we do this common voice leading pattern, this melody over the top, this could be harmonized 1, 2 diminished 6, 5, and 1. Okay, we could easily part write this like so. There's our 1 chord. We're going to go to F here. We'll get double the A flat right here. We're going to go to the G chord here, 2 roots, a third, and a fifth, and then we can resolve here to tonic. Okay, so this framework, this is perfect. This is beautiful. Do, re, ti, do. We get the sense that re resolves to do and ti resolves to do. It's a double neighbor. All you have to do to make this chord into the Neapolitan 6 is make that a flat 2. That's all you do. Everything else is exactly the same. Okay, so if you think of the flat 2 as resolving down to the C, and then the B resolves up to the C. Jazz people would call this an enclosure because it's a chromatic double neighbor. This causes an interesting effect here with this D flat and the D natural down here. It's this cross relation. Okay. If you're writing this and you're going for really smooth voice leading, you're going to be tempted to take the D flat to D natural, but that's not how the voice leading works. So if you can think of this contrapuntal framework, the progression will write itself. Okay, so I want to pare down the framework here and say that in our bass, for the basic, I'm going to call this the number 1 paradigm, which gives us 1, Neapolitan 6, 5, and 1. Okay, so it's 1, Neapolitan 6, 5, and 1. All right, for this one, we're going to have 1, 4, 5, 1 in the bass, and then in some upper voice, soprano, alto, or tenor. For now, I'm going to write it in the soprano, just so we can really see it. The other voice is going to go 1, flat 2, 7, and that's the leading tone, 7, and 1. Okay, so we can pick a key. Let's do G minor. B flat, E flat, B flat, E flat. If we want to write this progression with the Neapolitan going to the 5 chord, okay, so we've got G minor, we've got G, C, D, G. That's our bass. And then in an upper voice, I'm going to do in the soprano, we're going to go 1, flat 2, 7, 1. 1, flat 2, 7, and 1. If you get this framework in place, the progression practically writes itself. Okay? So once we double our first chord with a D and a B flat right here, okay, we're heading into now the Neapolitan chord, the A flat. Now, This is a chromatically altered pitch, this A flat, so you would never double the A flat because the A flat has to go to F sharp, right? So you won't double the A flat. So B flat is going to go to C, D is going to come here to E flat, and then we're going to come here. This is our A natural right here. That's that cross relation I mentioned. And technically you don't need the natural here, but it is courteous. It's a courtesy accidental. And then we can resolve. And we have our chord. All right, so that is paradigm 1. Let's talk about elaborating upon this slightly, okay? So do you see that this interval right here, the A flat to the F sharp, could have a passing note in between it? So let's take that passing note and let's do something with it, okay? So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to call this paradigm 2, and we'll fill in the details for this in a minute. Let's do this in A minor. Okay, so I'm going to get my bass line basically the same, okay? 1, 4, 5, 1. 1, 4, 5. I'm going to leave a space here. And 1. And I'm going to do, again, 1, flat 2. I'm going to put in an extra bass note, like this. And I'm going to insert that passing note A and line it up with an extra 5th scale degree in the bass. We'll talk about what that does in a moment. Okay, so if we leave out this beat right here, this is the same paradigm as paradigm 1. All we've done now is we've inserted the passing note and shifted the bass over so that it lines up with that passing note. This gives us cadential 6/4. Okay, so that passing note with a slid over bass fills in this gap with a cadential 6/4, and this is something that happens frequently with the Neapolitan 6 chord. So right here, if we have this in the bass, in the upper voice, I'm going to just call it U. We're going to have 1, flat 2, 1, 7, 1. All right, so now we can part rate this. Once you have this framework in place, the part writing becomes pretty easy. So I'm going to do an E here and a C. We're going to the Neapolitan chord, so we're going to double the D and the F. And now this cadential 6/4, once again, this tells you what to write. A 4th above E is A, and it goes to 3. A 6th above E is C, and that just steps down to B. So again, this tells you, do you see right there? 4 goes to 3, 6 goes to 5. Okay, so we're going to call that a 5 chord, like this. This is 1, this is the Neapolitan 6, and then with this cadential 6/4, as with all 6/4s, if it's, we're going to double the bass. And then here we can resolve to our final chord. Right, so this is paradigm 2, which is 1 to the Neapolitan 6 to cadential 6/4, 5/3 to 1. I'd like to write another one of these, and in fact, how about if I do this? Let's say we're going to do this in the key of D minor, and how about if if you want, you can stop the video a second and you can try writing this with this skeleton, this paradigm, and this progression in the key of D minor. And then I'll work through it as well, so you can check your work. Okay, so if you did this, our bass line has to be 1, 4, 5, 5, 1. The upper voice, the upper part of the skeleton, oh, I did that in the wrong key. Sorry about that. 1, 4, 5, 5, 1. And then in the upper voice, we're going to have 1, flat 2, 1, 7, 1. If you get this framework in place, the progression practically writes itself. So I'm going to put an A right here and an F right here. There's our first chord. Here's our Neapolitan, G, B flat, D. We cannot double the E flat because it's a chromatically altered pitch. All right, so we got G, G, B flat, and E flat. This is the Neapolitan 6. Right here, this is cadential 6-4 to 5-3. And again, here's 4 going to 3. We need 6 going to 5, and we double the bass note here, and we can sustain that. You could also, if you wanted to make this into a 5-7 here, this A could step down to G, and that would give you the 7th on the chord. And now we can resolve to 1, like so. Okay, so this is what I call paradigm 2, where we fill in the passing note here from flat 2 to 7 and align that with the 5 in the bass, and that gives us a cadential 6-4. The last one I want to show you is really quite amazing. It's my favorite one. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'll do this in A minor again, and I'm going to start with the basic structure as we know it from the beginning. A, B flat, G sharp, and A. Okay, so this is 1, flat 2, 7, 1, and this is 1, 4, 5, 1. Okay, again, so what we're going to do for this one, which I call number 3, paradigm 3, we're going to put in a passing note right here. Okay, so that's going to give us a 1 right there. And now this time, instead of just stepping up to the 5, we're also going to put a passing note right here. So 4 is going to go to sharp 4. So this is actually pretty interesting. This is chromatic descent, chromatic ascent. Okay, this chord, if you look at this as a D sharp and an A, this could be a couple of different interesting chords. But first of all, this is our 1 in the key of A minor. Here is our Neapolitan 6. Here's our 5 chord and the 1 chord. This chord could be 7, diminished 7 of 5, or it could be 5, 6, 5 of 5. And the voice leading through this passage is just beautiful. Let's stick with a 7, diminished 7 of 5 for this one. So 1, Neapolitan 6, 7, diminished 7 of 5, 5 of 5, and then 1. All right, so I'm going to voice the first chord. We're going to go here to the Neapolitan chord. Okay, so now this chord is going to be D sharp. So we need 7 diminished 7 of 5. 5 is E. The leading tone to E is D sharp. And a diminished 7th on D sharp is D sharp, F sharp, A, C. So this actually works really beautifully. Look at this. This F can become F sharp. This D can step down to C. And right there is a D sharp, fully diminished 7th chord. And that is 7 diminished 7 of 5. And from here we can just step down to our 5 chord. And look how beautiful this is. And now we're going to resolve it. And we'll take this up to C. And we got it. The setup I have right here, I can't play this for you on the piano, but you should definitely go and play this. And it's beautiful. All right, so let's do one of these. Let's do this progression. And let me summarize it again for you right here. I'm calling this paradigm 3, okay, which is 1, flat 2, 1, 7, 1. And that's in the upper voice. And the bass is 1, 4, sharp 4, 5, 1. All right, so how about, let's try this in the key of C sharp minor. Okay, if you want to stop the video and try it, go ahead. And I will work on this now. So C sharp minor is a relative minor of E major. So here's the key signature. Okay, I'm going to start with the bass line structure. So we've got 1, 4, sharp 4 is going to be F double sharp, 5 is G sharp, and we're back to 1. All right, so this is our 1, 4, sharp 4, 5, 1. Above this, I'm going to do C sharp. We need our flat 2, which is going to be D natural, and 1, which is C sharp, and our leading tone, which is B sharp, and we're back to C sharp. So 1, flat 2, 1, 7, 1. Okay. And this, let's have this give us 1, Neapolitan 6, 7 diminished 7 of 5 to 5 to 1. All right. So here we go. Let's part write this. Let's part write this bad boy. Okay. So there we go. We're going to this D major chord right here. We're going to want to double the bass. And again, we would never double the D natural, so the E would not go to D natural, because the D natural has to go to C sharp and eventually to B sharp, and then we'd have parallel octaves between the voices. This is so beautifully slidey here. It just like oozes from one chord to the next. Okay, so here's an F double sharp, fully diminished 7th chord. Okay, let's call that F sharp, fully diminished 7th, which would be F sharp, A, C, E flat, and then if we double sharp it, it's going to be F double sharp, A sharp, C sharp, and E natural. Okay? So we've got F double sharp, A sharp, C sharp, and E natural. We're moving into the 5 chord, G sharp, B sharp, and D sharp. And then we resolve. Oops, sorry about that. I don't know what I'm doing. Yes, that is an E, and here's a G. And there we go. Okay. I would like to just quickly summarize these paradigms. Okay. So what I'm calling paradigm number 1 is 1, Neapolitan 6, 5, and 1. And the upper voice goes 1, flat 2, 7, 1. And the lower voice goes 1, 4, 5, 1. Again, if you write these things in right away, the framework. If you're given the bass line as a figured bass, write this soprano line in, and that will set you down the path to doing this correctly. Number 2 is 1 Neapolitan 6, cadential 6/4 to 1. And this upper voice will go 1, flat 2, 1, 7, 1. So it has the passing note in it. And the bass goes 1, 4, 5, 5, 1. So this 5 slides over to align with that passing note. And the third one, 1 Neapolitan 6, 7 diminished 7 of 5, 5 and 1. The upper voice is the same one here as here. 1, flat 2, 1, 7, 1. And the bass has a passing note also. We go 1, 4, 5, 1 with a passing note in between, which is sharp 4. All right. So these are my paradigms for these. 3 paradigms, and I will make a PDF of these and make it available for free and post it under the video. So you're welcome to download that. All right. Let me know if you have any questions. Again, I suggest you try this at a piano because you should hear what these sound like. And I will plan to remake this video at some point in the future. But I know people are getting ready for exams and such right now, and I wanted to get something out to help people prepare. All right. So happy part writing. Don't do this. Don't make flat 2 go to regular 2. Okay. Think of this with a big slash through it. Don't do that. Flat 2 goes to 1 as a double neighbor. Flat 2 to 7 to 1 as an enclosure. All right. There you go. Thanks.